Hello everybody and welcome to this breakdown for tour number 13, where I will go through the 5 courses that you have on tour 13 and what is good to think about in terms of what ball and what club to use. I'm also going to display the best guide on the market for tour 13, or I would say the only guide on the market that you can find on patreon.com/golfclashtom. You can scan the QR code here on the screen or use the link in the description down below. Obviously, using a guide will put you in a massive advantage over others and will help you win more than you lose. You will not win every game, no one is doing that regardless what tools you are using, but having a guide with you will help you navigate through these very difficult par 3s and help you make less mistakes, because you're gonna see a lot of players that play against you making a lot of mistakes on the par 3s, and it's gonna help you get some easy wins, but also being, taking advantage over the fact that you know more than them by putting the ball closer to hole to a start and put the pressure on your opponent. So let's have a look at the 5 courses that we're playing on tour 13. The easiest way to navigate to some core information about any tour in the game, but also anything in the game, is to go to the website golfclashtom.com. We press tours and you can find all the tours here, but as we're looking at the par 3s only, we're gonna go to shootouts. So shootouts and then go to tour 13. Here you can find pictures of every shootout on tour 13, and if you click on the pictures here, you can get some elevations and just videos and stuff like that. So there's loads to access here, but again, strongly advise you to have the exclusive tour shootout guide here for tour 13. Shiruba Springs, I would say, is fairly simple, fairly straightforward, a lot of fairway to play on, and do have a funnel on hole 2. Hole 4 is not that hard, and when it comes to hole number 8, it's only a left to right wind that is, in my opinion, a struggle. However, though, if you don't know what elevations and what type of spin you're gonna play, it's gonna be difficult, but I do feel that Shiruba Springs is most definitely going to be the one where you're gonna see your opponents being the closest, I would say. Sakura Hills is actually harder than what it looks, because it plays with a lot of elevation, especially hole number 2 and hole number 4. The ball, like when starting dialing these two in, hole 2 and hole 4, had to increase the elevation massively to be able to get the ball to land where I want. On hole number 2, this is such a open green to play on, but we're playing with pin on the right hand side, and I would say in that case it's going to be a little bit harder to get the ball close, as the pin stands on a mound and it's very easy to fall left. When it comes to hole number 4, this is a very bumpy fairway before the green, and now with the pin standing short and right, it definitely takes some skills to get that one close. Spend a lot of time on this one to get myself close consistently with all the wind angles, because if you do have a one wind angle, might not work in the other because you might land on a different spot. Hole number 7 is just stupid. The pin stands so close to the rough and the sand that you're somewhat forced using one of the pads here on the side, in my opinion, or you go for a sand or rough bump. Quail Hollow. Hole number 1 is just a boring one. You're gonna have to use curl in more or less all the angles if you're not using all the side spin, or you're just trying to do a double bounce, something like that we have done in tournaments. But that type of double bounce is not really something that I do recommend to do, especially when it will work in some angles, and some angles you won't be even close to green. Hole number 5 is the one to be close at, I would say, together with hole number 8. You do have loads of room to play. It's all about making it simple. We're using simple landing spots here in the guide, and then it's all about hitting perfect, and you should be fairly close. Same on hole 8, where we actually have a sand bump in tailwind, this to allow us to actually have a proper type of adjustment here, and being close to pin all the time with that one. The Milano, hole number 2. Hole number 2 with the Milano, regardless where the pin stands, is going to be difficult. Here it's a rough bump that is the thing to go all the time, in my opinion. Double bounce and single bounce down towards the green is just going to make you be very far away. Hole number 4, I've changed a little thought here due to the pin standing a little bit more right, that I'm using not the rough on the left, I'm using the pad in the center, and especially in the crosswind and tailwind angle. Then in headwind we're using a rough bump here at the front. This one is definitely one where your opponents will miss the least, you will have opponents being very close on this one. Hole number 7, tough one, wind affected a lot, need a lot of elevation, and it's all about to be smart here in what way you're playing. Pin stands further back now, so you're not forced to play the rough and sand bump if you don't want to. I'm using the fairway to bounce up towards the pin, has worked really nice. Last but not least, Jubilee Grow on hole 2. Same NMT like we have always done here, just move the pin a little bit more right, and it's all about just catching that groovy spot, and this is definitely one that your opponents will be close at. Hole number 4 is the toughest one, I think one of the toughest one on tour 13 overall. Moving the pin up to the left, I'm trying to use a lot of backspin to catch that nice little spot on the top left corner of the green, but it's very difficult to do, especially in tailwind. So in tailwind, in headwind, because you can't adjust properly in headwind. In headwind, gonna have to do some type of NMT and be happy that you're 5 yards away from pin or less. On hole number 7, this is one to be close at as well. Bounce over the rough or sand. I'm using a route to the right as well. This to allow to get the ball closer to pin than what it otherwise would be in some wind angles, which is an interesting approach, I must say. And I think for those of you that have only played the way we have done in tournaments are going to be surprised with the way that we have been choosing in crosswind and tailwind. So there you have a quick little breakdown of the courses, the shootouts on tour number 13. Let's have a look at what club and ball that I would recommend to go before we take a look at an example guide. We're going to make it simple, and we're going to list the key club in my opinion. That is the Cataclysm. As a wood club, it will take you to green with ease on some of the longer par 5s and the par 4s. You will see loads of your opponents that are playing sniper, which in my opinion is a mistake, because if you do get headwind on the long par 5s or the par 4s, you're going to see yourself not being able to reach, and that will risk them being a loss. That's why the design of the shootouts is based off Cataclysm for all the tours on the third tee, to allow us to have that distance and not being forced doing some stupid innovative stuff because we don't have the power on our club. So I'd rather than choose having the correct power on my club to allow myself to go to shootout and then design the shootouts based on that club instead. I think it's a mistake to go the other way around. The ball to use here on this one is not the Sydney ball. We're gonna change that to this ball, the classic Kingmaker. All our guides are based off free-to-play balls, so the mid-wind of Kingmaker is what we designed the shots for. But not just the Kingmaker is possible to use. We obviously can use this ball as well, which is a Kingslayer, and you can in many cases use balls that has power 4 as well. There are people that are using power 4 balls, as they have a lot of those since back in the day. You can obviously use other balls as well that do have similar stats like this, but we recommend to keep it power 3 if possible, because we are playing from some min lines and some max lines and stuff like that, which could be a little bit complicated when it comes to the shootout. Otherwise, let's have a look at an example guide. So, an example guide here to give you some more direct information of what you can expect by signing up with exclusive tour shootout guides. You can choose a tour from tour 7 up to tour 13 and get immediate access. Scan the QR code here on the screen or go to patreon.com/golfclashtommy and sign up. You can bundle that together with tournament and checkpoint challenge if you like, or you just buy it alone. If you do have any questions, you can always email support@golfclashtommy.com and the guys will help you out there before signing up. Live clickable links to useful places, including exclusive Telegram tour chat. Yes, we do have a Telegram chat where you can ask questions directly to us that has created the guide. Proper version control, so you know which version of the guide you have. General advice page to give you information on what ball and power ball setting we're suggesting you to play. Recommended ball, driver, and also wood club to list. Some information there as well, because obviously we want you to play with the clubs that we have designed the shots for and that we do believe is the best for the particular tour. Sometimes that can change depending on what type of course they put on the tour. Now we have some curl pictures as well, and then we have menu slide with easy to identify hole images to take you straight to the hole that you need, saving time. Let's click on this one, and you can see that we jump directly to this one. Home button takes you back to the menu slide, easy navigation. Pressing that one, we jump back. Very easy to do. And then we do have the landing spot pictures nearly always before spin. Simple, yes, and that is the key with being a good tour player, is to be able to play regardless what wind angle, and then in an easy way find the spot that you want to have your landing, like your club in. So always trying to design shots before spin. This will allow you to, regardless what wind angle you have when you start, to find that position easily, and then you can just add spin and then obviously whatever curl and adjustment that you need. 8 wind specific info boxes to give you the adjustment, spin and curl, and this is something you might be used for when it comes to the golden shot. We go with a similar type of format to give you can see the adjustment, and then the spins, and then the curl. Whole overview and landing spots. Here we are marking with an X to where we do want to have the ball to land with our first bounce. And then key written advice and instructions, easy to follow. If there's something to think about, especially to explain the landing position, it's something that we're using that box for. So there you do have an example guide. You can see how easy it is to actually follow this, and it's it will help you win more than 50% of the games. Thank you so much everybody for watching this quick breakdown for Tour 13, the 5 courses that we're playing there. Very difficult tour, that's why it is the highest tour as well. Being a winning player, getting our guide to do that is definitely the best way to go. Scan the QR code here on the screen, or you go directly to patreon.com/golfclashtommy and sign up for that and start winning some games on Tour 13.